Previously on Digimon World 2. We were on an absolute roll. We were able to save File Island single-handedly by defeating the mighty Chaos Lord. He was a tough cookie, I'll give you that, but our friends were simply too hard to be beaten by him. The defeat was so devastating that Chaos Lord chose to simply not exist anymore. A fair decision on his part. Crimson went and hid himself in the Kernel Zone, and we had to beat every challenger in the Colosseum if we wanted to go after him. But we had some pretty epic friends on our side, like the mythical Dark Jeff, the Black Metal Garurumon. Some people say that Dark Jeff was the one who was actually inside the truck in the early Pokemon games. And there was the ever-faithful Donkey, the Skull Mammothmon. He'd never let us down. And finally, they were led by the legendary King of Knights himself, Alfred. Sure, we did not have much in the form of backup, as we were plagued by terrible luck when it came to actually catching Digimon. But with these powerhouses on our side, we had nothing to fear, right? Right? Well, I suppose that was true, until we had the misfortune of running into the ultimate hidden boss of Digimon World 2. The true enemy, pulling the strings behind the whole thing, Lucky Lewis. He seemed innocent enough, and I let my guard down in the moment. And then... Yes, Lucky Lewis had used the power of confusion to turn our friends against each other. They decimated one another right in front of me, as I could do nothing but watch. Watch as they fell, one after another, until soon it was all over. They were gone, all because of him. I DNA'd their lifeless carcasses into a couple of new Digimon, but I did not even have enough Digimon left to even complete a team of 3. It seemed like all was lost. But then, there was a glimmer of hope. There were a couple of hidden domains that we hadn't completed yet, so there were a couple of chances there to catch new Digimon. Maybe it's not over. Maybe we'll get a chance to take our revenge for our fallen brethren after all. So I went back into the old domains, and I was able to get my hands on a couple of new Digimon. They weren't much, and I would need a lot more power to get anywhere. But it was the beginning of something. I could feel it. After a whole bunch of grinding, I was able to digivolve these new Digimon, who had unfortunately hit the level cap right at level 21, meaning I couldn't get their ultimate level moves. It's okay, we'll manage. After all was said and done, I had a Vermillimon, Varumanzaimon, Dragomon and Mammothmon to work with, along with the original combinations of our fallen friends, Mekhope the Skullmeramon, and Thundercat the Super Starmon. But now, it was time for some serious DNA digivolving. First, I DNA'd Vermillimon and Dragomon into a Dolphmon. I had failed in multiple attempts to catch Dolphmon, but I did finally manage to get one. After another round of grinding in the domains, Dolphmon was ready to digivolve into a Vamon, a valuable Digimon because of its access to Tidal Wave, which is a very strong move. But we ain't done yet. After putting this Vamon through the grind, I was able to combine it with Varumanzaimon to bring home an old friend who had left us a little too soon. Mr. Snappy-Doo had returned, and I think he wanted to tell us that we should not give up. Another round of grinding, and Mr. Snappy-Doo was ready to digivolve into Zudomon. Very cool, but unfortunately he wouldn't be able to get to the Mega level, as the level cap wasn't high enough. But I still had Donkey. We could do one more DNA Digivolution, and we had to make this one count. This Digimon, a lot was riding on it. We already had someone who we had placed our hopes onto. Now we needed someone to take care of our dreams as well. McDream would grow up to become Monzaimon, and I think I could feel the essence of an old friend within him. I know he is always with us, in some way, shape or form. And then I realized that Mekhope the Skullmeramon was ready to digivolve too, and it appeared that Mekhope wanted to go beyond and become something that could really keep our hopes alive. So he digivolved into Venom Myotismon. Truly brilliant. But we can't expect him to carry everything on his shoulders. This was gonna require teamwork. Now, Superstarmon normally digivolves into Digimon. While Grandpa has been an asset in the past, I felt like we needed something different. While I was contemplating all this, someone had sent me a message and told me that I should get Superstarmon's DP to 12 and then try to digivolve. I figured it couldn't hurt, but where was I gonna find all those DP chips? Well, the only surefire way I found was to get to the freaking 19th floor of the rift, where there was an almost guaranteed chance of a DP chip to spawn, and sometimes even a second one could be there. And so, I began another, different kind of grind, slowly making my way to the 19th floor of the rift, and getting back out and doing it all over again. This was truly a test of my patience and resolve, but for the sake of our fallen friends, I pushed forward, again and again, until finally, I had enough, more than enough in fact. And so, I fed a bunch of DP chips to our Thundercat to see if they would change anything. And it turns out that they did indeed. One of the legendary trio of the original Digimon World 2. The nickname was a prophecy, it seems. The Thundercat, the true Thundercat, had finally arrived. And what of McDream? Monzaimon usually goes into Saber Leomon, but I wanted to test if that would change if I increase the DP here with my remaining extra DP chips. And after a couple of them, it appeared that our McDream was ready to help and save our dreams. Now that is cool. Our new squad was ready. It was time for us to head back to the Colosseum one more time. One last time. Lucky Lewis, your days are numbered. We are coming for you. And I have a feeling that you won't be as lucky this time. Will our new friends be able to get the job done? Well, I hope you all got your snacks and about 30 liters of Pepsi ready. For it is time for us to find out. So here we are. After an enormous amount of work, I had a whole new team of friends by my side. Those who are gone are sincerely missed, but they continue to live on through my new squad. All of our hopes and dreams are on the line now. Any mistake will be fatal, but I believe we are ready for a rematch. It is time for us to return to the Colosseum. The one who very nearly ended our journey has been waiting for us, after all. Lucky Lewis, I challenge you one last time. I felt a lot more confident this time, cause I knew what to expect from this demon. Hyandromon started off with his typical atomic ray, but he really should have been more careful, cause he ended up triggering a very nasty counter in Tidal Wave, a new move that we have in our arsenal now. It hits the entire opposing party for middling damage, but lowers their attack as well. That ought to slow them down. And it seems Lucky Lewis's iron grip on the RNG might be beginning to slip, because while our McHope does miss the interrupt, Piedmon, shockingly, does not land the confusion off of Brain Rupture. That was practically impossible during our last battle. Is all that luck beginning to fade? Oh, and Digitamamon is... there. I don't care about it, and I don't think even Lucky Lewis cares about it. So let's just ignore it altogether, shall we? And our McHope does not miss during round 2 though, and successfully gets the paralysis online, with a good chunk of damage too. But while the luck may be fading, it ain't gone just yet, as Piedmon fights through the paralysis to confuse our McHope. But that's okay, we came in expecting that to happen. We've got ways to work around this. McHope goes with Venom Infuse again, because interrupts are not affected by confusion. Hyandromon is paralyzed as well now, and he isn't able to fight through it like Piedmon. Beautiful. And our Thundercat comes in with some invaluable anti-magic to get rid of the confusion. The relief is temporary though, as Piedmon has the heart of a champion, or the luck of a hacker, I'm not sure, as it immediately gets rid of the paralysis and confuses McHope again. Now this is a fight right here. Venom Myotismon versus Piedmon. They never showed this in the anime, as far as I remember. My primary objective for the moment though was to take out that High Andromon. As you may remember, it has access to Final Heal, which is really problematic. But it's not possible to just focus on High Andromon too much, as I have to keep Piedmon in check as well, and to make sure that I keep healing the confusion whenever it lands. As long as confusion only affects one of my Digimon, I can fix it. But two confused party members? Things could get really naughty really quickly if that happens, and not in a good way. I just needed Piedmon to stay off my case for a couple of turns, and although the paralysis didn't seem to affect it all that much, it was beginning to miss with Brain Rupture's confusion with some regularity. But then, High Andromon did end up going for Final Heal, which did set me back quite a bit. Even though our team is significantly better than it was before, I still have to respect this fight to a certain degree. Things can quickly spiral out of control if I don't. We've already seen what party-wide confusion can lead to. I really don't want a sequel to that horror show that we witnessed before. The scars from that battle haven't healed yet. Who knows if they ever will. But as the battle continues, we begin to slowly gain the upper hand. The RNG was beginning to shift to our side as Piedmon began to miss his attacks again and again, allowing my squad to lay a heavy smackdown on High Andromon. It kept bringing out Final Heal, but it couldn't have kept that up forever. I eventually decided to give Lucky Lewis a bit of his own medicine by confusing the High Andromon. The poor thing was paralyzed, injured, and confused at the same time. Piedmon tried to use a different strategy by using Trump's sword, but I obviously preferred this move to Brain Rupture. High Andromon though, under the strain of his many physical ailments, simply could not go on any longer and took a permanent nap. With their healer out of the way, it was finally time to beat the absolute snot out of Piedmon, whose brain was completely rattled by this point. Luck had finally run out for Lucky Lewis, as it got to a point where his Piedmon could not land a hit to save its life, until eventually its fragile hold on that life was severed altogether by the claws of Thundercat. And that left only one, and a very pitiful one too. Digitamamon obviously had no chance whatsoever. Although my Digimon and I had no beef with it, we still had to put it down. So Lucky Lewis had to sit there and watch, as his last remaining Digimon was annihilated in front of him. Our fallen friends have been avenged. Our journey is not over just yet. GG Gaming has led the way to a sweet, sweet victory. Afterwards, it was now our turn to take a couple of shots at Lucky Lewis, who is literally not called Lucky anymore, not even by the game. He tries to take this defeat with grace, but I don't care. In my headcanon, this guy is thrown out of the city after our battle, never to be seen again. But we are not done with the Colosseum just yet though. We still have to beat one final tournament, the greatest one of them all. In order to attain the highest possible rank that a tamer can have in this game, we have to beat the guard team leaders themselves. In the base game, we face Cecilia as our last and toughest opponent, but in this mod, she is the very first leader we're gonna take on. Is she still as amazing as she was in the base game? Let's find out. She brings a couple of Digimon that we have not seen in the game so far. Everyone's favorite waifu is here, and by that, I am, of course, referring to Plesiomon. This waifu is a pretty tough customer, as it has access to Congo. So we know that Cecilia has been working on some nasty DNA digivolutions in the background. Here's something interesting. Congo actually bypasses the damage from Venom Infuse, even before Congo is actually used. Huh, I didn't know about that. That's pretty quirky, I would say. But then again, many people do love the quirky nature of their favorite waifu, Plesiomon. Oh, and Rosemon is here as well. Some people do have a fondness for Rosemon, I'm told, but she is not anywhere near Plesiomon in terms of appeal. That's what most Digimon fans say anyway. Rosemon, unfortunately, never really had the opportunity to get going, as she missed her attack during round 1, and then she did it again after she ended up paralyzed during round 2. Truly a difficult battle for Rosemon, but then again, most eyes were on Plesiomon, so I doubt anybody really noticed what she was doing. In all fairness, some people do consider Prince Mamamon to be a waifu as well, but for me personally, I don't see it. But it does have some nasty moves, like Bullet Hammer, which pretty much always goes first, and stops the target from healing. Truly a terrifying attack. The prince is also hiding the smiley warhead counter. But I made sure to avoid the Mamemon until everyone else was gone, so the counter never really came into play as such. Rosemon did eventually get a chance to show off her special attack, which is called Rose Spear. It's a party-wide attack with a high chance of causing injury, so it's pretty good. Too bad that Rosemon herself isn't all that great. Honestly though, waifu talk aside, this is a pretty easy battle, especially compared to the insanity we've had to live through with Lucky Lewis. My team simply overwhelmed Cecilia, as her Digimon were picked off one by one. The ultimate waifu Plesiomon fell first, followed quickly by Rosemon. Left alone on the battlefield, Prince Mamemon could not do anything at all. Cecilia ended up being a big disappointment, so let's move on. Vander, the Gold Hawk team leader, is our next opponent, and he is packing a very cool looking squad. Very nice. But then again, I'm a huge fan of War Greymon, so I can't help but geek out whenever I see one. But Vander was in for a very rough ride. Thundercat began the fight by using Panic Wave on McHope, giving him the power to confuse his enemies. Phoenixmon has a really weird jaw. Like, look at that. It's not just me, right? That is one chonky jaw right there. McHope clocked it right in the jaw with Venom Infuse, confusing and paralyzing it at the same time. Holy monkey balls, am I right? But this Phoenixmon can still think clearly somehow, as it goes after McHope even while confused. How in the world did that happen? I had no idea. I think I was the one who ended up confused by all this. War Greymon brings out Kokaitis Breath, which is Metal Garurumon's move. That does seem kinda thematically valid to me. I like it. It doesn't really do a whole lot of damage though. This War Greymon is weaker than I thought it would be. Hercules Kabuterimon is there as well. It has Giga Blaster, which is pretty annoying, as it can cause the attacker's move to miss. It can also use Dimension Scissors, which is a single target attack. But it can't really do a whole lot of damage, so it's more of an annoyance altogether than a real threat. I figured I'd keep going with the powered up Venom Infuse and go after War Greymon. And it did work. But again, like Phoenixmon, not only did War Greymon fight through the paralysis, it was able to fight through the confusion too. What the diddly is going on here? So when I use confusion myself as a tactic, the game decides that that ain't happening. Or something. Or maybe the game was glitching out, I don't know. I thought the Phoenixmon was probably hiding a healing or revival move, so I went after it first. But then, more weird stuff happened. Now, the confused War Greymon began to act like it was properly confused, as Terra Force smacked Phoenixmon right in the massive jaw. Well, I guess we've made a temporary new friend after all. I've always wanted a War Greymon, so I guess I'll take Vander's for a bit. And for some added weirdness, Phoenixmon chose to not do anything that round at all. Well then, I guess I'm okay with that. The poor thing literally can't have any more negative status effects. I guess Vander should have brought anti-magic, huh? From here on out, this fight becomes a breeze. Phoenixmon and its humongous jaw are put down soon after, and War Greymon continues to stay on our side and pummel the Hercules Kabuterimon, and himself too on occasion. So this is what the power of real confusion feels like. It is quite addicting. But the Colosseum is the only place where we get to enjoy it, since the main game bosses are immune to it. So we might as well have some fun with it while we can, right? Eventually, War Greymon takes the honorable way out by terraforcing himself. And Hercules Kabuterimon really should have stayed in Beetleland. It's all over for Vander, but we've got one more opponent left. The scumbag who has been bossing us around the entire game is apparently the strongest team leader in this mod. I cannot believe that, to be honest. In the base game, Skull was a joke who brought a couple of Demi-Devimon with him, like some kind of sick freak. They weren't even strong Demi-Devimon. But has he become a proper challenger now? Maybe we will finally find out, after all these years, why people call him the Black Comet. Although I've not seen a single person actually call him that, but whatever. After getting a good look at Skull's team, I could see where the black in Black Comet comes from, at least. Oh boy, these are some scary looking Digimon, and they are all brought to us by this mod. Skull even has my favorite Digimon, Black War Greymon. How in the party time are we gonna win this one? Wait, hold on. Aren't they all virus-type Digimon? Oh well, I've got a lovely surprise for Scumbag Skull then. For you see, I still have lovely attack. For those who don't know, it is usually harmless, unless it is used against virus-type Digimon, in which case it completely ruins them. For Skull, this is a party-wide attack and defense debuff. Sure, our Makope does suffer because of lovely attack as well, but it is a small price to pay to basically neuter all of Skull's Digimon. We still have our tried and tested Venom Infuse as well, which probably made Skull even more depressed than he already was. His Black Imperial Dramon does have a cool unique move in Multiply. From what I understand, it basically increases speed by a lot. Okay. But even if that Imperial Dramon is fast now, there wasn't a whole lot it could do to affect the battle itself. After a double dose of lovely attack, it was doing a whole lot of nothing, but it was doing it really fast, so I guess that's something. With their defense essentially halved, Skull's Digimon were taking a truckload of damage every turn, and things only went from bad to horribly worse for the Black Comet, as his Black War Greymon turned on him, thanks to confusion. Well, I don't blame Black War Greymon. It saw what was going on, and decided to help end things faster. This battle could have been a whole lot different without lovely attack, but considering the hell we've been through recently, I think we were due to have a somewhat easier battle for once. After everyone else was gone, my Digimon paid some respect to Black War Greymon, and allowed him to Terra Destroyer himself to end the fight. We've done it! We've beaten the Guard team leaders, and have become the best tamer in the land! The title of Rank 9 Chief Tamer belongs to us. But with a great title comes great responsibility, apparently, as the truth of this world is laid bare for us. A great evil needs to be stopped, and we gotta go to the Kernel Zone to do it. And you know what that means? It is time for an epic FMV sequence. Now check that out. Can your PS5 or Xbox 69 do that? I didn't think so. Now those are some real HD graphics, huh? We have arrived in the Kernel Zone. At the moment, there is only one location here, the Core Tower. So that's gonna be our next destination. The Core Tower is a very interesting place. There are a whole lot of weak rookie Digimon in the first floors. After thinking about it, I decided to catch a couple of rookies, starting with this Candlemon. The poor creature was nearly annihilated, but somehow it survived and became our friend. A wise decision, although it may have some severe brain damage from that attack, so I'll keep it away from any more fighting. As I go on, I continue to catch any Digimon that I come across. The reason for that is pretty simple. Although I have complete faith in this team to get the job done, catching some new Digimon gives us a bit of security, just in case something goes horribly wrong. There aren't any more secret domains or stuff like that. We had to make the most of Core Tower while we still had the chance. The thing about Core Tower though, is that it is massive. The entire thing goes on for over 30 floors. I feel like the mod creator went a tiny bit overboard with the number of floors here. At least I got to catch a whole bunch of Digimon. It's always best to focus on the positives, right? Also, most of the floors are quite short and very similar to each other. It's pretty much a very repetitive dungeon. But then again, that can be said for just about any domain in this game. Anyway, after catching a whole bunch of Digimon, I found a high Andromon in the dark. My Digibeetle was pretty banged up at this point, so I had to just wander around in the dark and hope for the best. But I definitely wanted to get my hands on the high Andromon, so I used every trick I knew to smack it in the face with as many gifts as I possibly could. Wild enemies can't move diagonally, and I am pretty dang good when it comes to diagonal movements. This allowed me to open up some more space to throw some more gifts. And it actually worked! Finally, High Andromon is mine! But I had to go back, as I wasn't sure my Digibeetle would be able to make it to the end of this domain, and I could use some extra prep time too. As I've mentioned before, this entire playthrough was done live. The stream chat kept asking me to improve my team, because they thought my squad was not ready for the boss of Core Tower. The people in my chat tend to be some of the nicest and most helpful people in the world, so I decided to listen to them, and got to work. I had caught a wide variety of Digimon, but most of them were weak rookies and champions, and so began the most grindiest grind of the playthrough so far. I had to level up a lot of Digimon, then DNA them together to raise the level cap, and then do it all over again, and again, and again. Doesn't that sound like a whole lot of fun? This right here was the true essence of Digimon World 2. From my current lineup, McDream was the weakest, so when I got a black Virgarurumon at the level cap, I DNA'd it with McDream to form a Frigimon. The dream will live on through this cool guy. Thundercat was combined with who else but a donkey to create a nice Dreamojimon. I mean, yeah, I guess it's kinda nice. McDream then went on to digivolve into a Mamemon. Not very exciting, I know. At this point, I thought, hey, I guess the king himself was going to return to lead the way forward. But we've already trained a Prince Mamemon, so I was hoping to get something else. Also, that very nice Dreamojimon digivolved into a Virgarurumon. Huh? Yeah. And while that peasant Mamemon did intend to digivolve into a prince, I wondered if messing with the DP would make a difference. Oftentimes in this game, many digivolutions can be dependent on the amount of DP after all. And while increasing the DP did not make a difference, decreasing it led to a new digivolution. Our very own War Greymon. Finally! But although that was pretty awesome, I wasn't ready for what Jeff the Virgarurumon was about to become. OMG baby! Omnimon! Wowie zowie! What's more, Omnimon gets access to Omega Heal in this mod. It's only one of the best healing moves in the entire game. I figured we needed a new name for Jeff's final form. McLove is here to help save the world. But after leveling up my War Greymon, I still thought it wasn't good enough yet. And while looking through some potential DNA partners, I found one that led to a Black Agumon. Could it be possible? Could this Black Agumon grow up to become my favorite Digimon? The answer was a resounding hell yeah. Now this was a team that could strike fear in the heart of any enemy. It took a lot of effort, but I think it was worth it in the end. I think we were ready to take on the final challenges that this game has in store for us. McHope, McDream, and McLove were the heroes we needed and deserved. It was now time to go back into Core Tower, but this time, we were heading straight through as quickly as possible. But the game reminded me that no matter how strong I may get, no matter how tough my Digimon might become, nothing in this world will ever be stronger than the game design. Yup, hitting that landmine on the 30th freaking floor was pretty soul-crushing. The game was trying to make me quit, trying to get me to give up, but that wasn't about to happen. So I went back into the Core Tower. No amount of game design was going to stop us from saving this world. And after a very long time, I made it to the 38th floor. That's right, this domain went on for 38 freaking floors. Good lord, that's just way too much. But finally, we have come face to face with the Guardian. Or should I say, Guardians? In the base game, we only faced one Guardian. But here, we were gonna have to battle all three of them at the same time. They dump a whole truckload of lore on us. But the gist of it is that, in order to learn the secrets of this world, to finally understand what's really going on, we have to beat these Guardians. Will all of our hard work pay off? Or is this the end of our journey? It's time to find out. I had no idea what to expect here. The Guardian fight in the base game was one of the easiest fights in the entire game, simply because it was a 3v1 fight. But here, we are evenly matched in numbers. And they all have new moves as well, ones we can't even get access to. The Data Guardian has a tendency to go with Interferon, which really sounds like the name of some kind of medication or something. It kinda works like Clockmon's Interrupt, where the attacker's turn is delayed, but it also takes away MP, along with what I think is a higher chance for the attack to miss. Nasty stuff right there. The Vaccine Guardian typically goes for level sweep, which hits our entire party for a decent amount of damage, and it doesn't trigger counters, so that's fun. I did get the Virus Guardian paralyzed, but then it used Bounding Armor, which got rid of the paralysis. They have quite the varied moveset, that's for sure. The Vaccine Guardian also has a couple of fancy tricks, like Protection Sphere, which also gets rid of the paralysis. so I couldn't rely on paralysis in this battle as such, as the Guardians would just remove it very quickly. And I don't even know what other additional effects those moves have. For all I know, they could be raising their defense or something. In terms of offense, the Virus Guardian is packing Rail Cannon, which is not only painful to take, but it also reduces the attack and defense of the target. Oh boy, that is pretty crazy. Even though I had what I thought was a substantially improved squad compared to before, these Guardians were not messing around. I had to be very careful here. Apparently, the Data Guardian had an obscenely powerful attack called HP Zapper. It is supposed to halve the HP of my entire team. I never got a chance to see it, which I'm grateful for. I suppose we were able to steal some good RNG from Lucky Lewis after we destroyed him. Does that make me Lucky Editor Man now? Anyway, one thing I was quite happy about was that the Guardians apparently did not have any healing techniques at all. But again, maybe I just got lucky and avoided them. I'm cool with it either way. The Data Guardian was the one I focused on first, and even though it did take quite a while, I was able to put her down somewhat easily, turning the tide completely in our favor. The other Guardians do hit relatively hard, but we got strong healing moves on 2 different Digimon now, as McDream the Black War Greymon has access to Final Heal, and McLove obviously can use Omega Heal. Combined with the fact that we also had access to a total of 5 items, according to the rules of this run, I was able to make sure that my Digimon stay alive and healthy as they chipped away at the Guardians. I was still pretty uncomfortable when it came to the Rail Cannon for obvious reasons, so the Virus Guardian was my next target. After beating it up for a while, McHope gave it a double-handed uppercut for the knockout. With 3 epic Mega level Digimon kicking the diddly out of it, the Vaccine Guardian had no chance in hell. It was a pretty difficult fight early on, but our new and improved team was able to take the fight to the Guardians and show them the meaning and power of GG Gaming. After the battle, the Guardians tell us that the true enemy is a being known as Gaia. If we defeat Gaia, the world will be saved. And so, one last opponent remains. One final battle, with the fate of the world hanging in the balance. It was time to visit the final domain, Chaos Tower. This is where the game pulls out all the stops. Unlike Core Tower, where the floors were at least short and sweet, the floors in Chaos Tower go on, and they are filled with the worst kind of game design ever. Terrifying bugs, traps, and wild enemies around every dang corner. I tried to get to the end of this tower on my first attempt, but my Digibeetle simply wasn't equipped well enough to handle all this game design. The EP bugs ruined me, really. So I went back, got a few upgrades, and stocked up to handle the game design as well as I possibly could. Still, I just had to endure the long, grindy floors. They did slow me down, but I kept going. There's no way I'm gonna be defeated by this garbage after coming so far. And on the 30th floor, I found an amazing wild enemy group. I didn't try to catch anything in Chaos Tower, until now at least, but I had the time and opportunity to get something really cool. So I went back and forth between 2 entrances to hit them with all my toy planes and toy boats and whatever else I had. But these wild enemies absolutely hated my toy gifts, I guess. Even after all of them, I could only get a medium heart. This game really needed a toy spaceship or something. Anything better than a toy plane at least. But the Lucky Editor Man RNG kicked in one more time to help us make one last friend. Grand Kuwagamon had joined us. It may not even be needed, but I was happy to have it by my side. And it had some crazy stats too. Like, whoa. But enough foreplay. It's time for us to meet our destiny. All the work we've done, all the battles we've been through so far, it all comes down to this. I got my party ready, took a deep breath, and stepped forward. We finally come face to face with the real enemy, Gaia. Gaia has a lot to say, but we aren't really interested in talking. No matter what, we won't be manipulated by Gaia, right? We'll be the ones to save everyone. In the base game, we first fight Gaia in a 3v1 fight, which was super easy. But obviously, nothing about this is gonna be easy in this mod. You see, this time Gaia has backup. Neo Crimson, Gaia's biggest simp and BFF, is here as well. But that's not enough for Gaia. They need a third party member after all. And who could that be? Well, how about Digimon himself? Yes, Old Man Grandpa is working with Gaia right now, although unwillingly. Still, in order to save the world, we're gonna have to beat up Digimon too. Oh well, a small price to pay for salvation. It's time for the finale, everyone! I hope you've got your snacks and 22 liters of Pepsi ready, for things are about to get hardcore. Unlike the base game, the first form is not gonna be a pushover, it seems. Gaia is so massive, we can barely see the other two Digimon. Gaia starts off with God Punish, which sounds incredible but doesn't really do a lot. That's kinda the feeling I have for all of Gaia's moves. It's got a variety of them, but they're all kinda basic. Digimon tries a haymaker at our McLove, but Congo won't let him. Actually, starting off with Congo turns out to be a genius move, as Crimson goes with Chaos Cannon, while repeatedly targeting McLove. The damage wasn't going through, but Crimson wasn't about to give up either. He never was a very smart guy, huh? That Congo saved us from a lot of damage, and it was pretty hilarious to see this happen too. I think a total of 4 attacks were nullified this way. Awesome! But Neo Crimson has a few more tricks for us. He can use Double Edge, which does a metric ton of damage, but also reduces Crimson's defense for the turn. Meaning that if we hit him during the turn, he uses Double Edge, then he's gonna take plenty of damage too. Weirdly enough, Crimson here is both their main damage dealer and their healer as well. So there was no doubt in my mind that Crimson had to go first. On a side note, Paralysis was really paying off in this fight, I have to say. It kept Digimon quiet for the most part, and Gaia wasn't really doing a ton of damage, so I was able to focus on Crimson without too many interruptions. I had to be careful here though. If any of my Digimon's HP got too low, Crimson could really mess things up with a well-timed Double Edge. Especially if Gaia and Digimon went after the same Digimon as Crimson. But my team was well trained and well equipped with the skills they needed here, and after bashing Crimson for a while, he finally stopped moving. I thought this was it, we had the win in the bag for sure. But then Digimon brought out his special patented move, Hung on Death, which revived Crimson as a zombie. At first, I was petrified, but then I realized that Crimson is still on the ground, and he only seems to have 1 HP. Huh? So I simply attacked his prone, defenseless body and knocked him out again. Yay! This battle quickly devolved into a terrible, depressing, yet still kinda funny comedy routine. And Digimon kept bringing Crimson back to life, only for him to be put down again. Over and over, Crimson felt the gift of life, only for it to be snatched away from him immediately. Digimon wouldn't let Crimson die, and we wouldn't let Crimson live. This cycle of pain and misery continued until we put down the puppeteer Digimon 2. Finally, the bruised and battered mind and body of Crimson will be able to get some rest. And that left us all alone with Gaia. In this form, all by himself, Gaia was quite pitiful, really. Our party was able to hammer away at him without any problems. Soon, Gaia stopped functioning altogether. Yes, we've done it! Gaia is gone! Or is it? After the fight, poor old Crimson ain't feeling too good, which is understandable considering what he just went through. Both Crimson and Digimon leave the world together, hand in hand, as lovers. Probably. Leaving us alone with Gaia. Of course, to no one's shock or surprise, Gaia isn't beaten yet. It starts activating all sorts of programs and applications. This is definitely it, our final battle. If we win, Gaia will be no more, and the world will be saved. If we lose, well, let's not think about that. It's time for us to create a whole new world to live in, a whole new way to see, a whole new place with a brand new attitude. But we still have to beat Overlord Gaia and be the best that we can be. Gaia may have lost Crimson and Digimon, but it's got arms now. And these arms, oh boy, they are some truly nasty creations. Their attack names are even redacted to protect our simple minds from being destroyed by them, I guess. I tried a similar strategy as last time, but the arm saw that coming. The left one unleashes a devastating attack, something truly horrifying. It does an absolutely heinous amount of damage, while reducing our entire party's attack and defense. What in the monkey balls was that? It's a good thing our McDream preemptively used Final Heal, or we would have been in a whole lot of trouble right away. And apparently, Congo stops healing as well? Or was it due to one of the attacks we just took? I'm not sure, but I wasn't happy either way. The right arm is a pain in the butt as well, but not nearly as much as the left one. I really had to get rid of that left arm if I was even gonna survive for too long. But that was easier said than done, as not only does the left arm have that disgusting attack, it also has access to Final Heal. Wowie zowie, they went all out for this final boss fight, huh? But we weren't out of this fight yet. Sure, things were looking hard, but my Digimon and I were harder. I had to be on top of my game here in every sense of the word. I couldn't be too aggressive, as I had to pay attention to healing as well, and I had to make sure McDream kept everyone's attack up too, cause without that, we would basically be doing next to nothing in terms of damage. Can you believe that the livestream, during which this battle happened, went on for over 8 hours? It was by far the longest livestream I had ever done, and it still remains a personal record for me. Anyway, keeping the enemies paralyzed here didn't really have too much of an effect, as a lot of their attacks took the appearance of an assist, and assist moves are not affected by paralysis. Gaia had found a way to get around paralysis. Isn't that just adorable in a horrifying way? But all 3 of my Digimon had healing moves, so it was possible for me to keep my party healthy. I had also brought 5 max drivers to this battle, and I definitely needed them at times to stay alive. The first part of this battle was a true fight of attrition. I had to find a couple of rounds in a row where the left arm didn't use Final Heal, and it was a big fan of that move, so it took a lot longer than it should have. But the lucky Editorman RNG finally gave us the opportunity we needed, and I wasn't gonna let that pass me by. McDream connected with an epic Terra Destroyer to put down the left arm, a much needed break for me and my team, and we were one massive step closer to winning. Now it was time for the right arm. Gaia remained somewhat pacified during this fight. It had a bunch of different attacks, but they were pretty tame compared to what the arms were doing. I was kinda surprised by that. It also had a reasonable chance of going for an attack instead of an assist, so paralysis did keep it in check, which was super helpful. The right arm seemed like it would be easier to deal with than the left, but then, out of nowhere, it brought out Final Heal too! What the diddly? 2 Digimon with Final Heal? That's outrageous, I tell you what! But at least the right one kept it away until the left one was gone. I wonder if that was part of the design, or if we just got lucky with that. Still, the right arm did not have that devastating attack that the left arm had, so it was definitely easier to manage. Honestly though, if you want the full impact of this fight, I would suggest checking out the stream in which it happened. There were a lot of emotions that I was going through during this battle, and I can't really convey all of them here in a meaningful way. In case you do want to check it out, it's the Digimon World 2 NUZLOCKE Challenge, stream number 16. You can find it in the live stream section of the channel. Anyway, the second phase of this fight wasn't very different from the first. It was still me focusing all my energy in trying to knock out the arm, while trying to stay alive in the process. Because the defense of pretty much my entire party was as low as it could be, everything did a lot of damage to my Digimon. But they had the heart of heroes, and they were determined to win. With one more venom infused, McHope was able to take out arm number 2. My goodness, we were so close now! One step away, one last enemy remains! Victory was so close, I could taste it. Here, I was thinking, well, all things considered, it really wasn't as bad as it could have been. My party is still healthy, and they are all still alive. There is no way Gaia can take us on in a 3v1 fight now, right? Well, there was one thing I forgot to account for. The true enemy was still around and alive. The game design. Gaia, cornered and nearly beaten, brings out its final weapon, an attack unlike any we have ever seen before. It knocks out any Digimon unfortunate enough to be hit by it 3 times. It can't be interrupted, and I'm pretty sure it can't even be countered. It's out of this world, just like Gaia. I never saw it coming. The arms, they were simply designed to slow us down, to keep us preoccupied long enough, so that by the time they were gone, we wouldn't have enough time to knock out Gaia before it destroys us. Still, McLove, McHope, and McDream, they tried their hardest to keep going, to protect our hearts, our hopes, and our dreams. But they just couldn't do enough damage in time. McLove was the last one standing. It went down fighting like a real hero, but in the end, it was not enough. We were not enough. Gaia had won. This was truly heartbreaking. We had tried so hard and came so far, but in the end, it didn't even matter. But we can't just give up, right? Every time we fall down, we have to get right back up and try again until we win. That, after all, is the meaning of GG Gaming. But this was not going to be easy though. I had what I thought was a pretty incredible lineup of Digimon. If they couldn't get the job done, then what will? Well, I suppose now is the time to focus on the positives, right? We did catch a whole lot of Digimon in Core Tower, and that Grand Kawagamon in Chaos Tower too, who was pretty dang strong. In here, somewhere, was the key to saving the world. All we had to do was find it. And so, I got to work. The thing is, most of the Digimon I had befriended were incredibly weak for this point in the game, so I had to level up all the rookies and champions, DNA them once they eventually hit the level cap, and then do it again. Remember the heavy grinding I had to do earlier? Well, this was taking the grind to a whole new disturbing level. Even though I was leveling up 3 Digimon at a time, this was still a very slow process. But I had to do it. There was no way around it. I haven't really mentioned it before, but this mod did make quite a few changes when it comes to the amount of EXP and bits we gain during the course of the game. Battles tend to give out a lot more EXP and bits compared to what we used to get in the base game. But even then, it's not quite enough, especially when you get to level 20 and above. The EXP gain is a bit too low. Sure, the early levels can be easy enough, as you don't need a lot of EXP to level up. But the required EXP gets kinda crazy once your Digimon get to the ultimate level and beyond. And to make things worse, the wild enemies which give the most EXP are only available at very high floors of endgame domains. So I had to go through the domains until I got to them, level up as much as I could, and then go back to restock on healing items, digivolve my Digimon, and then go right back into the domains. I always hated the idea that you had to go back to town to digivolve. Like, why couldn't my Digimon just do it when they get to the appropriate level? But I had to keep going. For all of our fallen brethren, for the sake of the entire world, we had to keep moving forward until our enemies were destroyed. Until we were finally free. So how many hours did it take, you may be wondering? I don't know. All I can tell you is that it took many, many days of non-stop Digimon World 2 action. This much time spent playing this particular game would drive a normal man insane. But I am no normal man, as many of you know. I am the Editor Man. And after what felt like an eternity, I had a new team. One last group of friends to put all of my faith in. There were no possible do-overs anymore. If we lose, it's all over. But that's not gonna happen. This time, we were gonna win. Now then, let me introduce you to the new squad. First, we have Bonky the Clown. That hammer is gonna really put in some work, I tell you what. Defensively, it's probably the weakest, so we'll have to put in some effort to, keep it alive and everything. Next, our hopes and dreams were crushed by Gaia, so I brought in someone new to help revive them. A Digimon who could cause pain and heal it too. The fallen angel, Macbeth. But although our party was looking pretty crazy right now, I didn't think it was enough. I mean, we had some amazing Digimon on our team last time, and look at what happened. No, we needed a leader. Someone who knew what it took to save the world. Someone who had done it before. Someone who could really clean this place up. The hero of File Island has returned to save the world once more. He went through a transformation on the way, digivolving into a kind of Numemon that didn't even exist in Digimon World 2 until now. Some people think that it's the mod that brought Platinum Numemon into this game, but actually it was the determination of McLean to become even stronger. Our old friend is here to lead our team to victory. With our Digimon ready to go, I got all my items and made my way to Chaos Tower one final time. The terrible game design was still here in abundance, but we kept going, floor after floor. There was no turning back now after all. And finally, we were here. I had brought along Ugly Sonic, our first partner, along with the Miracle Candlemon we had befriended earlier, as our cheerleaders. Hey, we could use all the help we can get. But this is it. Do or die time. We are gonna end it right here, right now. Let's go. We've already beaten the first form before, but this will be a good test for our new team. A nice opportunity for them to flex their muscles before the main event. Macbeth began with an early Grace Cross Freezer, which caught Gaia and Digimon off guard, paralyzing them both. Very nice. Now, Bonki's moveset was quite simple, but still very important. Bonki's got Dimension Scissors to cause some injuries, but its primary attack is called Bullet Hammer. This is one of the most, if not the most, broken attacks in the entire game. It's got priority, so the user always goes first. But that's not all, cause it has a frightening effect. If a Digimon is hit by it, it cannot be healed during that round. Now keep in mind that our enemies do not have access to items, so they can't really use any healing before Bullet Hammer goes off. It's an insane attack that shouldn't even exist in my opinion, but because it does, I am definitely gonna make use of it. Considering what's coming next, we need every possible advantage we can get our hands on. And you know what? Our boy McLean has it too. I guess it's the Poop Hammer when he uses it. McLean still had a bit of ring rust though, as he misses here quite often. But that's understandable. He's been chilling out at home since the fight against Machine Dramon in World 1 after all. I used a similar strategy as last time, by focusing on Crimson first. While it did try to go for final heal here and there, Bullet Hammer made sure that he wasn't getting any healing himself. That left Crimson horribly exposed, allowing our party to decimate him in no time whatsoever. With that, Digimon got one more opportunity to pile on the misery on his fallen comrade. Crimson was revived and quickly put down like a dog, over and over. We've seen it before, but I have to say, it's still funny to me. The rest of the fight is uneventful. After Digimon was knocked out, Gaia had no idea what to do and got kicked around for a while. Everyone had a chance to punch Gaia in the face, until McLean stepped up to show Gaia who the real Alpha Digimon was. Of course, we all know there's only one way to do that, so McLean brought out his patented move, Party Time. Phase 1 Gaia simply could not handle that and went crazy. Well, McLean's Party Time tends to have that effect on evil Digimon. And finally, it's time. It's time for us to avenge those who came before and just fell short. It's time for us to honor their memories and finish what they started. I hope you've all got a refill of Pepsi, cause we are about to have the battle of our lives. Although we do know what to expect now, we still have to be on our toes. Once again, Macbeth started things off with the Grace Cross Freezer, and it paid off again. A double paralyze with the first move? I'll take it. But the Scary Arm used that horrifying move right away, and I really don't want to see that kind of damage too often. This fight really depends a lot on how many times that arm uses this move. Hopefully, RNG will be on our side today. But as you can see, things are not gonna be a walk in the park. Even with our new team and McLean, we have to be very careful here. If I lost an early party member, then that would probably be it. So I used my first max driver early to try and reset things and get the upper hand again. And then we got to work on the dangerous arm. Because the arms are gonna keep lowering the attack of my entire party, my damage output was going to suffer. But I had to take down that arm as soon as possible. I can't really afford to waste any time at all. I was cooking something, but that arm had to go for me to give it a shot. Bonky was taking a little too much damage, and I really didn't like that. To be fair, I kinda expected it somewhat, with his naturally low defense and everything. But I wasn't about to take any dumb chances, so I used my second max driver to make sure he sticks around. And then, McLean and Bonky began the double bullet hammer assault on the arm, while Macbeth supported them. This ensured that even if one of them missed, the other one would still connect with the hammer, so the arm wouldn't be able to heal itself. This worked out beautifully, and Macbeth fisted the arm out of commission. That for me was huge. I still had some of my items, all my Digimon, and the scary arm was gone. This is what I had been waiting for. You see, I came here prepared with a very special game plan for Gaia. All it required was for that arm to be out of the way. Now that it was time to put my plan into action. We all remember that ultimate attack that Gaia pulled out of nowhere last time, right? Well, Gaia only did that once both arms were down. So the question has to be asked, what if we took out Gaia first? The arm that was still around didn't pose as big of a threat as the other one. Was there a failsafe in place in case someone tried to knock out Gaia before the arms were gone? I was about to find out. And so, my Digimon took the fight to Overlord Gaia directly. I didn't completely ignore the arm though. What I did was I kept both Gaia and the arm paralyzed. Macbeth had access to Venom Infuse, and it kept the interrupt ready in case either Gaia or the arm were able to shake off the paralysis. That's a pretty fitting role for a Digimon named Macbeth, wouldn't you say? That's a very creepy fallen angel right there. With Macbeth keeping our enemies in a state of perpetual check, Bonky and McLean beat the diddly out of Gaia, who, I am sure, never saw this coming. I bet Gaia thought that it had beaten us and destroyed our spirit during that last battle. I don't think it expected to see us again. Even if it did, I really don't think Gaia expected us to be so dominant. Well, that's what happens when you have both McLean and GG Gaming on your side. That is an unstoppable combo. Gaia had nowhere to go, no arms to rely on, no healing to sustain itself. All it could feel was pain, as the bullet hammers rained down on it without mercy. Gaia had such big plans, but it was running out of time. The unrelenting pressure whittled away at Gaia's HP slowly, making sure that it suffered, like our old partners suffered. Our attacks were fueled by the memories of our fallen friends, and I made sure Gaia felt every last hit. And then, McLean decided to bring out its brand new ultimate move, Platinum Junk, which hit Gaia for a big chunk of damage, especially considering that McLean's attack was heavily lowered by the arm. And so, Gaia was now injured, paralyzed, and demotivated as well. This poor, pathetic creature felt fear for the first time in its life. I'm glad it did. It was basically on its knees now. And I know, just like each and every one of you, that there was only one proper way to finish this. It was time. It's finally over. Party Time has done it again! McLean has done it again! He led from the front and helped us to unlock the true potential of our team. From Machine Dramon to Gaia, the bad guys simply have to bend the knee when McLean shows up with his patented, trademarked Party Time. The useless remaining arm had nowhere to go. There weren't any failsafes for the situation after all. It was quickly eliminated after one more epic, incredible, final Party Time. The world has been saved thanks to McLean, his friends, and of course, GG Gaming. Wow, now that was something special. The livestream playthrough for this run took a long time to finish, but it was pretty amazing, I do have to admit. There were plenty of ups and downs, but they are part of the reason why the journey was so memorable. I do want to give a huge shout out to the amazing people who worked on this mod. I can't even imagine how much time it must have taken to do all this. From redesigning the map layouts to implementing entirely new Digimon into the game. That's just so cool. Sure, I don't agree with some of the additions, like the overly drawn out domains and long annoying floors, but I do have to give respect where it's due. The devs of this mod did a great job. After the ending plays out, we can continue to play the game. I am sure everyone knows about the infamous Terra domain, the optional, ridiculous endgame domain that opens up after beating the final boss. Well, this mod has made some changes to that as well. Instead of Terra domain, we now have Bug Maze. Fans of Digimon World 3 might recognize that name. This mod, in terms of the story, has tried to connect the two games together in some small ways like this. There are a whole bunch of optional bosses in here. You can find one on every 10th floor. I did get to the 10th floor, where I found Doug Doom. Huh, what is he doing here? Anyway, the fight was pretty basic, I guess. I'm sure things get harder the deeper you get, but I didn't think it was necessary for me to climb all the way to the end. The challenge run was over after all. If you wanna see what else is in there, well then go get the mod and play it for yourself. It's definitely worth the playthrough, I'd say. And if you do try it out, let me know your experience in the comments. If you, for whatever reason, want to see my entire journey, feel free to check out the livestream section of my channel. You'll find it all there. If you enjoyed the playthrough, and I sincerely hope you did, do smash that like button and subscribe to the channel if you haven't already. And if you would like to support the channel, you can do so on my Patreon, where I've got some nifty exclusive content. And now, here's a quick shout out to my wonderful patrons. Thank you Hero Emblem, Blake CN1, Vanilla, Yogg, Carl Dean, Jonathan Harley, Dark Soul 1243, Cerberus Whiteheart, Jack Hawkins, and our newest member, Lotaro Hall, for your continued support. And here's a special shout out to McDivil, Cool Name and Pascal, a bunch of awesome friends of the channel. The power of your friendship keeps nerdhood safe and sound. Thank you sincerely, my friends. And now, for an ultra strong shout out to the incredible people who keep the digital world safe from every villain out there. A huge thank you to the amazing duo of Shamine and Derpin Goose for your support. You are both the best, like no one ever was. While this journey may have come to an end, I'm sure there will be many more for us to go on. I have a feeling we'll need McLean's help again, someday soon. Are there any specific playthroughs that you would like to see? Well, do let me know in the comments. Until then, take care everyone, and I'll see you all next time. Bye bye!